Hey guys, welcome back. Episode 89, Hero Labs Live. Not getting the live feed on my rendezvous, but that is not the first time, and it's going to be great. Make sure I got everybody up here on YouTube. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you guys. Got Linus, Scott, August, welcome back, and Mr. P. Onka. Hello, welcome to the stream. Not sure I recognize your name. If this is your first time, really good to have you guys. New joiners in the stream, always welcome. My God, this market, right? I think we're getting into this point where people are starting to get nervous. They're like seeing how much they're up. Perhaps even looking back at something they sold last week, which was prudent, right? Taking a little profit off the table, pay yourself, always good. And then we're almost getting to that point where it's like the sell high, buy back higher kind of thing. And then I was just talking to the producer before the show. It's like, I don't know which camera I'm on. That's why I need that live shot. We got a second camera today. Point is, we're going to talk today about how to manage, well, first of all, emotions, introduce a little concept. Pardon? Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about, mostly like I'm going to start talking about Endgame, not because I think we're even close to the end. In fact, I want to talk a bit about that too. 2017 had multiple parabolic advances all the way up, people calling for tops, all the way up, people getting this same kind of feeling. And why I think we're probably in sort of phase one of a larger bull cycle. And there will be some bloody moments throughout that. They might even last weeks, and it might be like you're so convinced. I mean, they're not a very good pullback if you're not convinced that it's over, right? But starting to think about Endgame, I had an epiphany this week, something that I'm going to be doing as my goal. And it's feeling really serene now. Like I'm just like, okay, that's my focus. That's my goal. That's my exit. And it's not even really an exit. It's more just like desired outcome, I should say. And we'll get into that a little bit later through DeFi and all this stuff that I want. So if you just got the 1-inch airdrop today, holler in the chat. Looks like Deuce Ex Machina did. Yeah, brother, I am new to your stream. Hey, good to have you there. Mr. Bemoli, nice to see you. Definitely feels like that. Yeah, 3K 1-inch airdrop. Nice. You can claim on the 1-inch exchange. That's awesome, guys. We're going to pull that up. Actually, I've got the article right here. Let's start there because that's a nice big treat for anyone who got it. I honestly don't know if I got it, and I'll tell you why. Let's get that pulled up over here. We'll drag it down here. So here's the 1-inch exchange news article. And they did another airdrop today to sort of draw users into their exchange. And there's some pretty interesting rules about it, right? So new airdrop's already been delivered. Anyone who interacted with Uniswap before December 24th will get some tokens. So it's about 9,000 users. And another 3.57 million tokens were given out to early liquidity mining program. And then a whole bunch of different tokens were delivered to limit order users and another to users of smart contract wallets like Argent, Gnosis, and Pillar. Lastly, they gave some 1-inch tokens to particularly active Uniswap traders. To receive the airdrop, traders must have interacted with Uniswap in at least 20 separate days. So no more quick farms. They're trying to, I guess, deal with some of those people that are maybe trying to game the system. I have done at least 3 trades in 2021. In addition, the wallets must not have interacted with either 1-inch or Uniswap. Now, here's where I think I fall off. Because I think I basically live in one wallet on Uniswap. Pleb like that. I just like to just keep it simple, not to work too many wallets. I just thought of 2 wallets that I think are eligible because I did have one from a pre-sale that I used for Uniswap and never touched 1-inch. Cool. All right. What is that? 160 tokens or something? Anyways, love it. Okay. So I just read this today and I was kind of like, okay, not sure which of my wallets will work, but if any of your wallets fit this criteria, you should go check. And there's basically, if it's the same as the one at Christmas, there's like a claim on the page. You connect with your wallet and it'll be like, claim your airdrop here. So let's go look at the chart. Let's see if this is affecting the chart at all today. 1-inch, big news. free money falling from the sky. And yeah, no real drop. I mean, you're going to see maybe some light selling, but this looks like consolidation after a bull here. So that's generally, oh, got some crosshair lag on here. That's intense. Oh well, as long as the stream's coming through okay. Matt, what's going on? Good to have you. Costco executive member, welcome back. And had to do 3 transactions in 2021 and 20 days of use on Uniswap. Yeah, that's exciting. I don't know if I fit that. It's like a weird hoop to jump through. I have 2 wallets in mind that I split through a pre-sale. I did swap some of those tokens on Uniswap since then through multiple transactions. So we'll see. Maybe I have 2 wallets that fit this. That's exciting. As you guys know, I farmed the shit out of that Christmas 1-inch airdrop. And it was such a long shot at the time. I think I did it in like November, early December, that I don't think I talked about it on stream, which is too bad because it ended up being such a banger. But I mentioned it in a chat with my buddies, and I was like, guys, let's try to farm these like 1-inch. Maybe it's going to be a thing. And then right after I finished doing like 25 wallets, 3 hours later, all this stuff. And then somebody texted me an article. They're like, yeah, dude, I don't think it's. All right, might be back. I might be back. Screen share audio. How about now? Oh dear. I can hear you, John. I'm just going to cut the second feed and go straight with the screen share feed. Can hear you now. Okay, I'm back. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Weird things. Always a little curveball with Rendezvous and this stuff. One thing fixes, the other things break. Yeah. Yep, I can talk. Just double checking, guys. And we're having trouble getting through to TradingView today as well. Black screen of death over there, unfortunately. Echo. Okay, I think we're good, guys. Let me just double check. What are you guys seeing though? Again, my live shot's not coming up on Rendezvous. Screen share. Okay, guys. All right. Sorry for the mix-up, guys. It is the way she goes sometimes. Let's look at Hedgic. Yeah, guys, we're going pure coins today, so it's going to just be pure charts. I'll try to keep my opening banter to a minimum. I think 1-inch steals the show today. Also, Apple Pay coming in with some news. Basically, going to accept Bitcoin through BitGo. Let's pull that up. Bitcoin payments card BitPay now supports Apple Pay for an in-app and retail purchases. Needless to say, that's pretty big news. It's a fairly saturated news market right now, so I don't know that we need to expect Bitcoin. It's interesting. That news came out and ETH made an all-time high, and Bitcoin has not. It's just kind of chilling here, smashing into 48 and 49,000 multiple times. It just seems like a matter of time till it goes. It's Chinese New Year today, the year of the ox, which I gotta say looks an awful lot like a bull. So that's interesting. A little bit of symbolism there, perhaps. I'm gonna pull up the picture I put out on Twitter today. Like seriously, just this big gung-ho bull. Look at this thing. That's not a signal. I don't know what is, aside from the color, although China's red, so makes sense. Or maybe they're just in the red because they keep shorting the goddamn crypto market every Asian session, it seems. We'll see. But this looks an awful lot like a bull. And it is the year of that. So that's exciting. Chinese New Year for the win. Long weekend here in Canada. Not sure. Now check out Nord. Oh my God. So many coins to look at today. Everything's starting to go up. Scott Melker and I were on here a few weeks ago talking about Nord through this. I decided to ape in because I just thought, look, it's Nord Finance. It's going to be a banger. It's got a few things. He basically said, yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. And his casualness about that just gave me an oddly salient amount of confidence. So I've been loading up. In fact, I must say, I think this wick was me. I got slipped pretty bad. I can still recognize the wick. So I did load a bag here at like 3 a.m. I got out of bed. I was like in the middle of that move 2 weeks ago or whatever it was. And I just was like, I'm going to buy Nord. And then it was like 3 a.m. and the slip bots just destroyed me. So I get to own this wick forever. But yeah, it's doing well. I actually just noticed before the stream, it's pumping again today. So good to see that. Holy shit, YOP. Guys, let's talk about YOP. In fact, we need a bigger chart to talk about YOP because it is going off the charts. Look at this. And I can tell you a little bit about the news that came out yesterday for Yield Optimization Protocol. It's one that we've been talking about quite a bit on the show. Bullish on it. Really bullish on it. I mean, yield aggregator on your phone app. So imagine you can have your Ethereum, have your tokens in a wallet, on an app, in your phone, securely. And then you can access yield markets, farming plays, ranked stats, analytics, all from within your phone. Rotating in and out of farms when they're hot and not, all again, just sitting there on your phone. I think it's going to be huge. I think it's a really cool product. And I'm very excited to actually get to use it, which is another reason why I like to invest in things. It's like, if I want it, somebody else might. And then yesterday, total curveball. I did not expect. Very good news. They're actually going to be a launchpad aggregator now. 9 different launchpads. PokeStarter, DAO Maker, DuckDAO. I think, was it CyberFi, TrustSwap? I mean, just basically every launchpad I've heard about. Paid Network, a couple others. And they're all going to basically, you could essentially, I would assume, access those launchpad sales all from within this YOP app. I would assume that means that, for example, if PokeStarter is doing a raise, then people with a certain amount of YOP tokens on their YOP wallet, there'll be like allocations set aside for that group as well. And you'll have some sort of whitelisting and blah, blah, blah. Really cool idea. I mean, launchpads, pre-sales, ICOs, all that stuff, or IDOs in this case, they're hot right now. And YOP just put themselves smack dab in the center of that, and the market is responding. I mean, look at this Chaos PRZ. Don't you guys love this shit? I mean, you just set these up. They're way off in the sky. You don't think they're going to hit, and then they go smack. And oftentimes a little bit of rejection there, which is even more satisfying in a sort of, it's not just a random line in the sky. There's actually something going on there. So that's pretty exciting. And this chart, I mean, it was written, right? Breakout right here was my signal that it's like, okay, we're not going to break down. We're going to break higher. It didn't happen as soon as I wanted. It gave us another chance to reload. It broke out again. Nice little volume coming in. Came back into a reload zone. If I was to draw that up, you could see that reload zone. This was actually one poor soul I saw last weekend selling what amount they had paid like 71 ETH for, and they sold it for like 62 ETH right here. So shout out to that guy. RIP. You missed the pump. That's too bad. It's like a 12 ETH loss right before a 3x pump. That is unfortunate. And look at this thing. It's still moving, and it's moving right this second. So that's kind of cool. Bullish on algo. Yep. We're going to rotate to the charts here in just a sec. I just want to get through a few charts that are kind of hot right now. ID flagging after a successful launch. I would say successful in the sense that it went up 15 cents on Kyber, and it basically launched at 2x, chilled for a bit, and went right up to as high as almost $1. And this, I believe, don't quote me because I didn't see the transaction myself, but it was posted in a few of the rooms I frequent. This volume here, I mean, basically it included a $500,000 purchase. I don't know if it was in one transaction or not, but it was basically a 500K buy from a wallet that had 25 million in it, all in Link. I think like staked Link or something. So is that an exchange wallet? Is that SBF's wallet? Who knows, man? But FTX is integrating with these guys. There's a lot of interesting sort of pre-built stuff going on with ID. Everest ID. It's a really cool app. So we talked about it before on the stream. We'll leave it at that. But it's just consolidating. So, you know, oftentimes what you see with these things is you get that post-launch hype, and then it kind of cools off, squeezes out the ones who just wanted the quickest bucks, gets into a little reload zone, and then you see that. I don't mind if that happens. I won't really stare at the price in that case, value of my portfolio, blah, blah, blah. Like this one, I feel really good about. And I just actually kept buying. I bought some at 69, I bought some more at 69, 45, 45, 69. So like I'm just getting some. I'm getting in. And I think it's around 100 million market cap. So it's not a micro, but based on who they're hanging out with and what they're building, same old story, right? This one to me speaks to a much different number up scenario than perhaps some of the more micro coins. Keeper, this to me was a no-brainer. And with YFI into price discovery, I want to know, oh, this is Keeper versus ETH, but it's actually, you know, it's kind of consolidating downwards. Looks interesting. But let's go see Keeper versus USD. I always get confused with this one because it's got the 3 in it. It's messing with my head. It's messing with my head, man. But look, I mean, this to me is a no-brainer, you know, for a partial bag, like just to have a position in, because as Wi-Fi gets into price discovery, which it has not been in since it peaked. Oh God, what is happening? Here, I'm going to switch mouses. I'm going to switch mice. Here we go. Okay, back to my usual one, my Mac mouse, which is designed impeccably with the charging port on the bottom, so you can't charge and use. It announced it had low batteries 12 seconds before we went live, because that is the curveball that life likes to throw, and I just knock it out of the park. You got to knock the adversity out of the park. Little stupid things happen. You just got to say, ha, ha, ha. Try again, life. So let's see. Keeper right here. It's just a no-brainer to me. Like with Wi-Fi and price discovery, I'm interested in the Yearn ecosystem. And it won't happen all at once, right? It's very much that gradually and then suddenly kind of thing. So let's go look at it. Let's maybe just start with the king of the Yearn ecosystem. I think Tika Tawari came out and said something like, I don't know, he has some really bullish price forecasts that sound crazy. I don't even know that I would say they're crazy, but they do sound ridiculous, which perhaps we need to start thinking a little bit more ridiculously. But I think his price prediction, I didn't read it myself, so don't quote me on this, but I was told his price prediction on Wi-Fi was like $10 million. Which again, you know, he's also not saying it will and you should go buy all in because it will, but his thing is like, I guess his point is like it's asymmetric risk, right? You could put in $500 and still potentially make eye-melting, you know, eye-watering gains over 5 years, whatever years, right? Anyways, it's in price discovery. I mean, look at this chart. Where will this thing go? I mean, we've seen the Chaos PRZ do its job during this bull run. And this thing looks like it's just getting started. Suddenly this like breakout slide down is kind of what we just talked about, right? The initial hype release kind of thing, and then just like wash it out, squeeze it out, and then build it up. Smack, smack, breakthrough. So any retests at 40K to me, I will probably look to add or get a little leverage long or something, you know, put a little low leverage on it. Generally speaking, trying to work just from spot positions because it's just way easier to manage. But with this in price discovery, how's that going to affect the Yearn ecosystem? Probably very bullish. And you can actually look at the entire ecosystem here, the list. You guys know I've been bullish on Pickle. It's been doing pretty well over the last week. Still got a bag. I sold some, so my bag is free now. But I am holding 2/5 of it still. So just under half, I guess that is. And I think it's going to do well. I think Keeper is the other one I picked up. And, you know, there's a bunch in here. So the other thing I picked up this week, which might be the best way to capture this if you trust YETI, powerindex.io. Somebody mentioned to me in passing that Yearn ecosystem token index is basically a single token, and you can hold this. This is your index. So, you want a little access to this whole ecosystem, you can just hold this one token and it'll basically fluctuate with this kind of price action based on these percentages. So it's got a bunch of sushi, a bunch of Wi-Fi, and then equal amounts of these 5 tokens. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I bought some of that. And then you can stake this on the site right here, and you get like something right now is like 87% APY, and you get paid in CVP tokens. So I'm essentially buying access to an index of the Wi-Fi, the Yearn ecosystem, and I'm getting paid an 80% APY drip of CVP tokens. So that's kind of cool. So that's how I'm going to play this one. I've got some Wi-Fi, got some Keeper, got some Pickle, and then I've got some YETI. That's it. That's what I'm doing for now. So that's sort of the pivot that I made this week towards Yearn, because price discovery is a cruel mistress. It is a wild lady. And I think, we could start getting some other chaos PRZs. The fun thing with these is you can kind of draw them a few ways, maybe look for some confluence. The big ridiculous one is take this full low and take it to that full high. Is that out of the question? Nope, but it's a little ridiculous. But, looking at other charts, totally ignoring the total dollar amount of this, because it's $50,000 for one token. But totally ignoring that, this looks like a bottom accumulation from this angle. And, do we see some crazy shit in the next few months, weeks? Totally possible. I really do expect, I think in some ways, because we're all coming out of a bear market and there's already been a lot of interesting gains, people are getting pretty loaded up, right? And then there's this feeling like it's gone too far. It's further than I thought it would go already. And so you think, wow, must be getting to the end. But I don't see that. I don't see it yet. I think we're due for a pullback for sure. And for that, I would say, let's look at this chart. So after Bitcoin broke an all-time high last cycle, we had just this, face melting rip for a year. And it started with like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 week sort of vertical advance, parabolic advance. It's a price discovery at the time. And then it was just whoosh, like that's a 1 week candle. That's a very red week. Picture that right now, an entire week of just selling off, right? People would all be saying, good game, pack it in. That was fun. You'd be seeing 30, maybe even 40% drawdowns in your portfolio if you're all in alts. It would be ugly. It'd be very uncomfortable. And that's what happened last cycle. Lasted 3 weeks. It was almost a month. And this was before the spring alt season. So I wasn't even in at this point. So that was almost right around now, right? Kind of March, April through April. And then the May is when I joined. I joined through this. And it was just insane. I never saw a chart in my life. And it just kept going. But again, throughout, there are moments. So we haven't had that moment yet. So I am bracing for that impact. Still pretty long on alts, but I am fully aware that at any moment, there could be a momentary rug that will feel like an eternity. So keep that in mind. And as we start getting up into these higher numbers, all right, this is the first week we're going to close above the previous all-time high in altcoin market cap. I would start thinking about your rotation game, how you're playing this market. What are your exit strategies? What are your long-term goals? Now is the time to start planning about what you might do or how you're going to approach this longer term. It's very exciting. You got to take a moment, step back, get a journal, whatever, write down some goals, because in the heat of the moment, it's very hard to think long term. So you should start writing those down. I find writing them down really helps. Okay, guys, sorry. Getting back to the chat. Sharing as much of my mindset as I can with you guys as we get into the start of the stream. Can you show how to draw your fib extensions on these with less price action history? Yeah, I can take a look. I mean, you need a certain amount of price action to do a fib extension. If this thing like right here, back here, if this just launched, there's really well, I guess you can always do a fib extension off the initial impulse. But, there's a lot of traders, TA guys, that just won't trade certain charts. if there's not enough price history. You know, the longer that an asset has been trading, the more information you can glean from it based on the charts. So I'm just going to use Keeper as an example because it's here. But yeah, like you can use that for a fib extension. Looks like somebody did, but they front ran it. Didn't quite make it to that one. But yeah, it's totally a thing. You know, if you drew it from here, sometimes this initial wick, you know, I ignore those. Well, look, would have worked out. Blah, blah, blah. Get that nice little take profit here. But generally speaking, with not enough price history, you will run into problems with a lot of TA tools. You need ranges, you need established levels and stuff. So hope that helps. Getting in on 69. That's right, Paul Young Jr. I chuckled to myself as well when I bought 69-cent ID. Let's see. There are 55. Oh God. I think the police are calling me right now. 55 front desk. Is that? Probably because of that crazy neighbor that attacked me and my movers a couple weeks back. They're probably calling to let me know that he's getting out. That sucks. There are 55. Okay, there are very few in top 20 that hasn't pumped. BSV is one of them. That thing is just staying there. See higher highs and weekly though. Could you please look at it? Yeah, I'll look at it, even though I hate it. Don't like BSV. I think it's dumb. But I'm not opposed to ideas. And, you know, scams pump the hardest. So let's take a look at the old Craig coin. If it wasn't for his like ego and just how he conducts himself and claiming to be Satoshi and then just being a hot mess of a human, this thing might actually have some legs. I never looked past his ego. I never looked past the personality that he brought to the table, which just cringes me. Totally counter to everything crypto. This is not decentralized. It's a me coin. I like fuck off, Craig. Anyways, yeah, I mean, it's probably gonna join the party at some point. Most times in these kinds of crazy bull markets, it turns into like, what hasn't pumped? Okay, loads of pump. So maybe it's a nice little sleeper pick. And you know, I have no idea though, like about the mining situation, if there's any adoption. I know there's sort of like a cult-like following on this one, and I might have to just swallow my pride and trade it because it does look pretty good, although it's just been living in this range for the longest time. No clear breakout yet, but look at that, you know, moving up, little volume, little flag here. Totally possible that this guy runs. So if you're desperate for something that hasn't really pumped, but you'd have to risk pretty big window here. You would have to risk, I mean, fully on a high time frame, you'd probably want to be risking to there. It's a 33% window, but you're still getting nice RR for a little chaos sesh. Yeah, take a look at that, sir. Hedgic, please, por favor. Yeah, we'll take a look at Hedgic. Absolutely down for a little Hedgic. It's trading on Binance too, so it's nice and accessible on low fees. Hey, could you take a look at ADA? Yep. Past USDT for a brief moment. Some analysis appreciated. Sure, Paul Young. Happy to do that. Octo. Ooh, it's not the first time I've heard of Octo, and I've never looked at it. So let's go in order here, guys. Check cover. Okay. Oh yeah, cover's well, that's versus Ethereum. Ooh, that's cool because Ethereum just made an all-time high today, and this thing is outpacing it. Very exciting. Cover the one thing on the YETI thing that I didn't buy. Cover, yeah, look at that. And it's in my wheelhouse, right? Because I was trying to load up on sort of these lower names, like, you know, pick the ones that's lower on the market cap for the Yearn ecosystem. Looks like I skipped over cover. I'm like, I'll get some pickles, I'll get some keeper, and cover will pump. But I do own some through YETI, so we'll see. Let's go look at them. Cover, I'd rather look at it on like a tether pair. I just like to live in USD. Keep it as consistent as possible. Yeah, I mean, she's running. She's working. She's right up against this M-top resistance from the first initial rally. I believe this is like an insurance play, right? Cover. There was a big exploit. I assume that was this. And it's back. So, you know, how to sensibly approach this thing. I mean, it's out of any kind of reasonable buy ranges that I would typically use. I could pump chaser zone it, you know, find a way to follow this parabola up wherever it goes, and then the first consolidation should give the 382 a tag, wherever that may be. Pretty fun little tool for a bull market. Uncanny how well this thing works on bull flags, where it's just like, you know, kind of flagging, and it's like, it just, whatever. That's like the ugliest bull flag ever. But those kinds of consolidations, how often they just come into this pump chaser zone. It's basically the way the universe was designed. So if you guys haven't already, start playing with these things. Just find, you know, ideally it's off the bottom. That's the most official one. You'll see the best sort of TA lineups with that, right? Resistance, support. It's kind of lining up better from there. But I play with it a lot on different levels. Once you get fresh bullish market structure, sort of like low, high, higher, low, higher, high, then that becomes like a new, theoretically, like valid bottom for a pivot for these, according to me, entirely. I don't know what someone else might say about that, but that's how I use them. And then sometimes, you know, you do this little shorter one and it blasts through to the bottom and you're like, oh, that's too bad. And then you go back here and it was like a perfect pump chaser tag and you're like, damn it, this was the valid one. So there is no perfect science there. Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. I think the best thing you can do is do whatever you're going to do consistently. Track your results using a trade journal or some other kind of trade tracking software. Edgewonk is one that I purchased a license to a while back. I think it was like $200 lifetime. Really good data there. Edgewonk, if anyone's interested. I don't work for them. I don't get paid by them, but damn, did they make a cool product. So I will talk about it. That's one way to do it. And then track your data. And then you can even be, you know, they have different custom stats. You say, okay, I use the entire range for the pump chaser zone on this trade. And then you can also tag it with each trade with a certain stat that says, okay, I used like a condensed range. You know, you could even technically say this one is one. And then, you know, after 100 trades, you can look back and be like, oh man, every time I use the full range, I either get stopped out or whatever. Like you can start to see data based on specifically how you applied it. That's probably the best way to do it if you're really in this for the long haul. Let's go look at Hedgic. So that's cover, bullish. Yep. Yearn ecosystem, gonna go probably like, I would think ecosystem wide, it'll be in price discovery at some point. Obviously you want to consider like the merits of each individual token on here. You know, I know Pickle had an exploit, seems to be a thing of the past. They've got Dill coming up, some new farming play or something. I don't know. I haven't looked into it again. I keep thinking I will, and then I don't. But I got a bag. We'll actually take a look at that chart today too. But let's look at Hedgic on Binance. Oof. I looked at this thing somewhere through this consolidation. Whatever. I could say that about everything. Looked at everything through the consolidation. But it's breaking out today. I don't know if this is new all-time highs, if this is the full chart history, but this is definitely new local highs. All-time Binance highs, 51 cent Hedgic. What does that say about the market cap? Let's see where we are in the grand scheme of things. 171 million, getting up there with a TVL of 64 million. Fully diluted 1.5 billion. So, you know, it's up there. Be interested to see. You know, I know Messi's really bullish on this one. He's got a bag, I'm sure. So might be the guy to be thinking about, you know, checking in with on the valuation levels. But, you know, it's in a bull market. It's in a bull trend. So buying is for the higher lows. Paying yourself is for the higher highs. And that's sort of what I want to talk about today too. And I'm going to be writing it in our weeklies. If you guys notice, we do a weekly, either Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday. From now on, we're going to be doing them more consistently on Tuesday morning, midday or so. Just a series of weekly charts. And in those, I also include usually a little highlight of what's going on. And for the next segment, sort of like maybe a 2-month series, I'm going to be talking about endgame strategies. How the hell do we get out of this market with our shirt on, possibly a new house, whatever your goals are? You're going to want to think about them now. And I'll be writing about that in the coming weeks. Let's just go to that now. HeroLabs.io. So it's right here under the weekly. So it'll be this kind of thing. And I'm just going to start writing up a little bit better, more meted out segments. If you want to get the weekly, please go to HeroLabs.io and sign up down here. It's free. Totally free. So you can do that. All right. And hopefully you appreciate what I'm putting in there, because I do it for you guys. So that's just another way to capture our thoughts, send them out to the audience. And yeah, let's get back to business. So that's Hedgic. I think my plan, TLDR, is to get, not necessarily stacking sats, not necessarily like stacking this, stacking that. I'm trying to stack a passive income future, where I'm not completely out of the markets. I don't necessarily have to pay tax because I'm not going to pull it all out into my local fiat. But what if I, build a stablecoin position over time, right? And then place it across a number of DeFi platforms, or a few in particular. And they provide a certain, 7-8% yield. And then I could live off that. That's sort of my goal. And then I stay in the market. If it ever turns back to a bull market, I can pull some of those stable coins and just get them in. But if it goes into a nasty bear and all this gross shit, but that's, we'll talk more about that. But that's also like, well, which platform do you choose? How do you know they'll survive the bear? What if there's like a 2008, the crazy thing with the tranche-based investing on these DeFi things, like blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about all that on the newsletter in the coming weeks. So sign up there if you want it. Hey, can you take a look at ADA? Yes, that's the next one. I was looking at ADA too. You might see it on my chart here. Nope. That would be this one then. ADA. Yeah. Ugh, what a moon. I think I was looking at it at like 36 cents. Womp womp. I did have a bag, and then it was here. Yeah, the BTC pair. So check this out. Same thing we've been looking at. So there are some more of these left, and there will be sort of next legs to this journey, I imagine. But this kind of SR flip, guys, this is what we were talking about the other day. This is what you want to find in the market. Find a coin that has been smashing into resistance time and time again over a series of months that just broke through and had volume to back it. And if it's just going to hang out above that level, even better, because it gives you time, gives you some dips to even buy chintzy down into here. ADA was no different. And then it's just like, let's go, taking off. And if you're wondering, we do have trading view ideas. And on these ideas, I put out setups. They don't all come true, but you know what's cool about TradingView? You can't delete them, right? So like you see exactly who is right and who is wrong once in a while. Let's take a look at Aeon. This was an incorrect setup. It got stopped out. Womp. Death. That wasn't good. Perfect example of why we manage risk. I think this was a terrible one too, as it turns out. I was like up here. It's like, ooh, all these reasons why maybe we're not just ready for the full bull. Oh, look at that. GAN dates pointing to election day. Womp. Whoops. Right? Well, right? But this isn't like a all-in thing, right? I think this one right here, we had bullish market structure. So as a trader myself, I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of that idea. Stablecoins back in action. But it's cool in that sense. So this week on the weekend, I actually put out Ocean. Same thing we just saw in ADA, right? Nice consolidation, smashing into resistance, smash, smash, smash. Oh, look at that breakout retest. What? And we're off. So this trade is feeding the family this week. ONT didn't quite get the fill. Remember we talked about on Wednesday. I missed my alert here by a smidge, but she's moving as well. I did buy some. Kind of broke my own rule in a sense. I just picked some up. I was like salty. The dip missed my bid by a cent or two, and then I ended up buying it like, I think 1/3 of the size. I bought it like 7 or 8 cents higher. So far, I'm being rewarded for what is otherwise a rule bent, but it's not really. My risk on the trade stays the same. I just sized down and bought at a shittier price. So womp womp. But if you guys are interested, VidT, this one got shit on. So don't ever go over here and be like, oh man, these are all bangers. But over time, this is just another way to look at some ideas and say, hey, that's a cool way of looking at it. Maybe that fits my plan. OMG. Bottom sign reversal. What's going on with OMG? It's kind of moving. And I just love this replay feature. And the fact that in like a year, you'll come back here and you'll still see all of our trades. Particularly proud of this one from the summer. BAT. This was the target. Look at this bloody thing. It just pinged that target in the summer right before the bubble popped. It was a nice one. And we're right back to that level. Anyways, have some fun over here on our idea section. If you haven't already, you can follow us there too. Plugging all the socials today. Why not? So here Labs on TradingView. Check us out. Let's get back to business. Back to the chats. BCH. Oh, dear Jesus. All these Bitcoin copycats today. But you know what? If they move, they're going to all move. So we should be not ignoring them because of our bias. Let's be honest. This thing's probably going to do well to some degree. Out of principle, I probably won't trade it. But look at this stuff. Love it. Clean, clean, clean. Breakout, retest, go. This is the stuff we just... So clockwork, guys. And when the market's making it easy, you got to take full advantage. I think one of the things that I learned between now and 2017, and really just even now and last year with the summer DeFi, I didn't fully commit to what I was seeing in the market, which was a bull trend. And spotting what is going on in the market, recognizing it, and then shifting and adjusting your risk accordingly is really important. This is risk on, right? As soon as this broke in here on January 4th, I was thinking buy. I was thinking buy dips, add, longer, more, right? And I didn't wait, right? It's much easier to do that now because you're seeing everything go up. In this case, is Bitcoin dominance, it's going down. It's much easier to do late. But by training myself and by coming up with this risk on, risk off window, I am now moving with conviction. I'm saying, fuck that. This is a bull market and it's not going to be a bull market forever. So I'm going to be very aggressive at key levels, managing risk the whole way, blah, 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 but like not sleeping on ideas and setups, sizing up where appropriate at low levels that I can get my tight risk on. And, so yeah, that was it. I mean, the risk on actually confirmed right here on Bitcoin Cash. So I would have been out of this one, but then if I'm trading this thing, these kinds of levels come in a bull market, you've got to be thinking action Jackson. Let's take a perfect look at Ethereum. Perfect example on Ethereum, I should say. Front run a little bit. So if you're getting too greedy, or not greedy, too exact, but look at this level. As soon as this broke out, and we put out this chart, and I thought, okay, well, here's your bullish throwback. I wonder if that'll get a tag. It didn't. But my God, it was like $1 away. 81, 90. So it's $9 off a perfect bullish throwback, and it doesn't last long, guys. In a bull market, these kinds of things, if it's really going to be the bull, you're not going to get it lingering there for too long. Kind of did here, but anyways, that's the idea. Getting into these bullish throwbacks, up, down, buying the retest, buying the retest, buying the retest. And when do you end up usually buying? If you're just kind of thinking emotionally and not sure. We've all done it. Probably this week, we're buying on the breakouts. And what's happening on a lot of the breakouts? Fake out, wrecked, fake out, wrecked, fake out, wrecked, fake out, wrecked, go. So buying dips, acting with conviction, managing risk. And it's going well. These were scary moments. You guys might remember on Monday. Monday, I did get shaken out of 2 positions. It sucks. Show you one. Evidence of humanity. I am human. I even said it on Twitter. I was like, either I'm getting shaken out or I just got on board the Bitcoin train at just the right time. Well, I was getting shaken out. It happens. Storage is one that getting away. And the worst part is when you take a stop loss, it's usually the bottom, right? In a bull market. In a bear market, stop losses will save your shirt 10 times over. But I even said it. I was like, I don't want to sell during the pump chaser zone. But if we break Monday's low, I'm just going to get the fuck out because Bitcoin just broke out of its like high time frame consolidation. So I thought, well, that thing's really going to rip. We're going to get into these reload zones. And so I looked today. My sell was like, I don't know, somewhere very depressingly close to the bottom of this. So that Bitcoin is sitting in Bitcoin. It's okay. It's actually not sitting in Bitcoin. I think I bought some other coin with it, but well, that's the way she goes. Thank God I bought my Ocean back though. Same thing happened to me on Ocean. Same exact thing right here. It's the Monday low, and then it broke shortly after that stream, and I stopped out. And then I just remembered this chart, and I just kind of like kicked myself. I was like, no, you know what? That was a USDT trade. The USDT looks great. I'm buying it back. Bought it back somewhere in here. I don't know where it was, but so I still have my Ocean. Thank God. But storage, not so much. Let's go back to the charts. Woo! I had some Woo token. I don't anymore. Let's see how far it went. Any token I owned before and do not own anymore, by nature of being a bull market, is usually up. Let's go see Woo. Woo. Oh, you know what? Hold on a sec. I think I do have a little bit of Woo. I just wrote it off. Because do I have Woo? Oh yeah, I got 10,000 Woo tokens. They're worth like $600. Let's go. So I do have a tiny bit of Woo. But apparently the market doesn't want to pop up today. Oh, there we go. Oh shit, Woo's moving. Damn it. Oh, holy Woo, Batman. Yeah, this was I believe this was the setup that I traded it on. Where it's like, okay, breakout, and then breakout, usually get that reload zone. That's the ideal entry. So that's cool. Got 10,000 Woo. Hell yeah. Woo's looking good. And it's a pretty cool idea, if I remember correctly. Some kind of like liquidity thing. Can't speak to it too much, guys. Sorry about that. But sorry, not sorry. It's not my job to know everything. Do your own damn research, blah blah blah. But Woo's looking good, and it's same old story right here, right? Resistance, 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 accumulation. Oh, look at that big volume coming up. Breakout. What about that retest? Ah, there it was. Really nice. And this thing, I mean, my hope in going over the same thing over and over again, guys, and I did get this impression from somebody the other day. I mean, 35% off that bounce. It's like, oh, somebody told me, they say, you just use fibs all the time. They actually said that to me, like as if finding a way to make money in the market was a crime. You're always just using fibs. Said, look, dude, you got to use something that works for you. And then the idea is to be able to repeat your behavior. Find a setup that you can find repeatedly, right? So I thought that was an interesting take from that individual. I don't know who it was. But same thing, SR flips. You see some trend lines on my charts, not many, because I don't really find the trading off of them very effective. But my hope is today we're seeing a lot of repeats. And oh God. Okay, guys, you know what? 1 minute break here. Sorry. Got to go off. Pause. Sorry, be right back. Okay, real talk. That was the police. And the crazy neighbor of mine is being released. And so they're just calling everyone that lives nearby to basically say, he's not allowed to talk to you, look at you, come near you, or be within 10 meters. I was like, y'all know he lives 2 doors down. They're like, yeah, it's about 10 meters. I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes. Poor guy. He's in rough shape, but man, if he rolls up on me or my family, oof. Anyways, fun stuff. Okay, it's going to be fine. Guys are shut in. Probably won't see him. But I had to take that. Okay, guys, let's get back to business. Double QP is back in. Says OXT is interesting too. Got a bag. Okay, guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but Double QP is the homie, and he knows what he's talking about. So we're going to go straight to that right away. Let's go take a look at OXT. OXT. Oh, yeah. Well, already moving. So can't go too crazy there for myself. But that, this kind of market, it might keep going. I'm just not going to risk window that. That's too ugly. Let's say daily. Does the breakout necessarily has to close above the breakout level? Yes. Generally speaking, when the resistance breaks out on the daily, you want to get the close. In fact, waiting for the close is incredibly important. We'll show you maybe on Bitcoin why that is. Show you on Bitcoin. Didn't really get any closes here. Let's say the 4 hour. Well, okay, maybe don't have a perfect ready-made example for you here, but generally speaking, if a candle hasn't closed, it doesn't count for any kind of breakouts or anything like that. So keep that rule in mind. This is pretty strong. We broke to a new high, which we had already done a couple times, but they all just got rejected and they actually closed a little low. This 4 hour closed above. It closed not at a new all-time high, but it is the highest candle close on a 4 hour chart for Ethereum ever. Candles can do a lot of crazy things, right? While they're open, they go anywhere they want. And that's where the wicks are. The wicks give you the high and the low that the candle ever was. But then when they close, that gives you new information. And then once they're closed, that candle is locked in eternity. So, I would wait for the close on most things. And when you're talking about a daily chart, you're usually okay to wait for the close. If you're trying to scalp trade something, a high velocity move in a 5 minute, waiting is not the name of the game. It's usually, you can wait for the setup to come in, but generally speaking, if it's a daily setup, look here, that daily on the 5 minute, it's agonizing. How many 5 minutes are in this freaking daily candle? But you just zoom out, you wait for the daily to close, boom, and then you can get your retest, which it looks like it gave you the next day, just a little bit right down here, almost perfect. So yeah, OXT does look strong. This is the problem in the market, right? So how do you differentiate? Everything, not everything, but most things look really strong, and a lot of them are going parabolic. And as a general rule, obviously, I never buy into a parabola at this kind of thing. This is where I'm selling if I'm doing anything, because often, even if we're in a larger bull market, which I think we are, you're going to get things where it's whoa, A, B, C. And then it's just whoa, right? There will be a phase in a larger bull cycle where we can get into greasy buy areas again. Again, for the first sort of coming out party of this bull market, which is what I see this alt rally as, this is our first liquidity cycle, right? Bitcoin went parabolic. ETH then went parabolic, following in Bitcoin steps. They're cooling off a little bit, not cooling off, but slowing down, right? This was crazy. Bitcoin's not been doing that for a little bit. Aside from making new all-time highs every other week. Yes, I know. But point is, this is to me the coming out party for a much larger bull cycle. Sounds a little crazy. It'll be what it'll be, though. I'm not here to make bold predictions. It's just that's my hunch right now, and I'm going to keep trading the charts, and we'll find setups. And if there's a big gross bear market kind of structure, we'll deal with that when it comes. But these kinds of charts, the best buys have passed. The chase buys get riskier and riskier every day. And while this thing could just go blasting off to here, it's not how I make money in the market. Chasing things like AVAX here. I think AVAX is strong. I think it's probably going to go much higher. But there's new kinds of trades, right? I don't need a value buy on everything. Are we gonna flag out here? And then there's going to be a little breakout. Maybe I can catch a retest, and that's a continuation trade. Maybe I'm risking to here, right? There's different ways to trade continuations. But just to go back and pick on OXT, purely on a TA way, the way I trade it, I struggle with this one here. You can maybe zoom in and find a reason if you have some inside info, or you just have a feeling something big is coming for this coin specifically, and there's no other way to, Most times if I find stuff, I find I'm forcing it into something, then I just go find some other coin that fits what I want instead of trying to, but so there's a few different setups. Generally speaking, I like these SR flips right now. These things, and there's still a few going on. I'll tell you which one I did pick up today. Weird one. From one of the viewers. If you're here today watching, but he hit me up on Twitter. He said, look at HTR. Looks cool. It's a DAG. Cool high performance blockchain kind of thing. Just on Qcoin for now. Nice volume coming in. Pick some up. There's my double. So if it ever reaches this level, I'll have a free position for the cycle. Coming out of this consolidation. Not a perfect entry right here, obviously, but still relative to the market. I think my entry was only like 32 cents. I mean, I didn't do great. I think he told me about it down here. So that's a sad face. But I finally got around to Qcoin today. I said, okay, I'm going to go look at that coin because I keep thinking about it. He told me about it. But I see it, I saw it less of a reload zone buy and more of like an SR flip. This is how I traded it. So, resistance, 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 breakout, retest. Let's go. So HTR might make some noise. It's a weird one. Hathor, but it looks pretty cool. It's the kind of thing I could see people getting hyped about later. It's clearly under the radar right now because I've never heard of it. Most of you probably haven't. Let's go UBQ. Poopy break. Look at DHT with large caps and many mid caps already up multiples, is rotating to small caps. Haven't really done anything. The play right now, yeah, that's the thing, right? Finding that rotation game. That's what I've been playing. Rotating out of things. I'll show you guys. Pickle's actually on OKX now. Whoops. So I'm really bullish on Pickle, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to hold it blindly. I rotated out of some of that because I was buying it at 12 bucks. Don't have the ink on this chart because ChartX doesn't save your ink if you restart your computer. So I won't bother drawing up the whole thing again, but picking it up at these lows on this kind of bullish retest, 13, 12 bucks, added a little at 15. I'm in a position now where I can take that money back and still have a pickle play, little pickle position. And then with Wi-Fi and price discovery, I don't think this like head and shoulders is as much on the table, even though that's something I'm watching. I do expect just some more whatever because don't see too many sellers here. This is all buyers, one sell bar, which started as a buy bar, just got smacked down by some nasty pickle whale, vinegary, warty green whale made of pickles. Other than that, this thing's been in the bull and they got some stuff coming up, which generally speaking is not sell until that kind of news drops. So yeah. Point being, rotation game. So if I'm up 100% on this bag and I find another sexy new bag that's just breaking out, well, I will rotate at least half of my position into that new sexy bag. And then I still got skin in the game, but it's a free position now. And if it wants to come back down and visit some levels, I can actually join back in, rotate right back. So to your point about that sort of, large cap, mid cap, small cap, yeah, I think the play is probably, the play is always to look for the right setup, something that's not quite parabolic. I think it's a really lazy and cheap way. It's unfortunate. I don't want to call anyone out if you're doing this, but buying shit that's pumping is it's a poor man's game, in my opinion, my humble opinion. It's like, oh, look, everyone else already knows that's a thing and it's pumping, it's going crazy, so I'm going to join that. I get cringed by that shit personally. And there's definitely ways to make money in that, but then you don't usually get out with much profit, right? You ride the pump, you're like, yeah, I'm on board, and then it goes back to your entry or even below, and then you panic and you sell, and then you sold the dip. Maybe that's you, maybe that's someone maybe that's just something we did once. I've done it before. Generally speaking, if everyone's buzzing about something and it's all over the place and it's pumping like crazy, I've missed my opportunity, my window of opportunity. And yeah, sometimes it's like here, I missed my opportunity window and I stayed out and then it goes here. Yep. But I get uncomfortable. DHT, let's check out DHT, another QP name here. Let's see it on here. Just be aware of that stuff, guys. There will be moments this year through a larger bull cycle, if that's the way the year is going to play out, where things get bleak. right? There was like 3 periods in the last bull cycle where things were just dark as fuck. Blah, world coming to an end. The bull market is over. Dropping. BNB dropped 80% in a week when China banned Bitcoin, quote unquote. 80%. How many people bought that dip? How many people sold that dip after buying the pump week? Just keep that in mind. I'm not calling tops, but through the bull, if it is a full long cycle of a bull, there will be some really bleak moments. Make sure you're prepared for those. Have some fiat, have some Bitcoin, whatever it is you're buying with. Get ready for those. Might be in a week and you might miss a big pump waiting for it. But I will not buy parabolic advances in a bull market for the most part. There are some exceptions. Not perfect. But I would recommend, keeping that kind of shit in mind. DHT looks really nice. Same kind of thing, right? God, how easy they are to spot in retrospect. Basically every single asset's doing this right now. So if any of you guys find one that's just breaking out like this, let us know. Because these retests, when they come in, you're usually looking left at something else because the retest happens when like Bitcoin's dumping or ETH is pulling back or something. And then like the dust settles and the next day you go look and you're like, oh shit, everything just bounced off an SR level. What a beautiful thing. So DHT looks really good. Looks like it's consolidating near the highs. Hope I don't come off like I'm some kind of bear, guys. Maybe it's just because I'm like, 87% long on altcoins right now. I'm just running out of things to buy. Like I'm running out of ideas that still look good to me locally. High time frame. I think we're going to see multiple waves of altcoin of euphoria. The last one being the most ridiculous, where you just can't even believe that you're alive. You're just like, what is happening? Like 2017 at the end of the year, like that was the one where you're just like 120x new website. It's like stupid. I think we'll get to that. It'll be multiple cycles probably within a bigger cycle. And so this to me, maybe we're getting closer to the end of the initial kind of what I think is like more of a coming out party. It's possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and you'll just get this little mini cycle within the cycle. So I'll tell you what, if that does happen, instead of calling bear through that first little, whatever that drawdown looks like, I'm not picking on DOT, but we'll be setting levels, hopefully paying, and this is the thing. It's really hard to play that game if you're not paying yourself through some of this. If you want to be a trader, if you want to be an investor, it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a long year. It's going to be a crazy year. And you're going to have some ups and downs throughout. But if you want to be a trader, you can't be 100% long on everything and then try to buy a dip. So I don't know why I'm still ranting about this, because I'm on a rant. Did you look at GRT already? No, GRT is a great example of one that I just can't get into here. It's looking so good. But also, what the hell is this, right? On the daily, it's just like, well, great trade. Not a buy. Really nice. I'm so salty too because, well, not really. I don't get too salty, but definitely like minorly butthurt because right down here, a really good trader that I know and respect, and I even invited him to I was like, hey, what do you think? Like, what's going on in the market? And he pinged me. He's like, GRT looks like it's about to reverse after that initial pump rally, hype rally. And then right here, he texted me. He's like, bro, check GRT. And I didn't. I checked it and I didn't buy it. I don't know why. I don't know what the hell's going through my head. January 12th. So I thought of that the other day. I was like, ooh, nice little 10x. Add it to the list of things. It's not a big deal. When you look at charts all day, you tend to miss 92% of them. And then just got to make sure those 8 are bangers, which they have been. So GRT, we're going to have to zoom in. Not too much info on the daily, except for that it just looks top, like local. Yeah, it's not a great look. Not going to buy. A little consolidation incoming, or is that a top? Let's play detective here. So what do you have? Well, you have really nice push up, higher volume. right? So this is something, let's look at this. You're riding your GRT position. You're not sure what's going on. You made this high and the volume had made an all-time high. That's usually a really good sign. Tops don't usually come in on highest volume and no divergence, right? So in this case, MACD just kept making new highs. There was no signs of divergence just yet. Right here, RSI making new highs, no signs of divergence. So I would have been, on a probability level saying this is probably not the top. It's a really nice rally. It's a really strong push. But usually tops come in on the exhaustion push that comes after a strong push. And so you can spot them with some indicators. MACD actually did make a higher high here on the hourly. I wonder what the 4 hour looked like. 4 hours generally what I would trade on these higher time frames. Still pretty strong on the 4 hour. So wasn't too many clues there. But did the volume make an all-time high? Was there new and more buyers liking it at these higher levels? Not really. And that doesn't mean cycle top, sell it all, run away. But it just means that for this impulse, for this move, the price, the market needs a little time to digest these new highs. It's not quite ready. Not enough buyers who are saying, that's a good price that I want to buy at. We ran out of buyers. Right here, we had more and more and more. Right here, a little bit of divergence. And then, arguably right up there with the RSI is the, well, I want to get rid of those other two as well. Can I do that? No. Okay, I'll just do it manually. So the RSI can give us some hints, relative strength index, thinking about the internals of the move. So we get up there, you're like, oh, sick, new highs, but not quite the volume you want. And then you look at the RSI and you're like, oh, shit. The RSI is actually trending, not quite trending down. I guess this was where the trend shifted. Right? There's just low. Oh, lower, low. Okay, we're down into a downtrend. But the RSI started turning around early. So this came up, made a nice big high on price, and the RSI just couldn't keep up, which just tells you it's running out of momentum. Then you add that to the lack of volume, and you could get pretty good signal right here. The last piece of that is you want to see the market structure change. So again, doesn't mean cycle top, doesn't mean 2021 highs never going to be beat. It just means for this initial coming out party, which let's be honest was fucking fantastic for anyone in GRT. Well, they ran out of buyers up here. And so they're going to, they hit the supply zone where everyone's thinking sell, pay myself. And that's just the nature of markets. And they'll zigzag to new highs someday probably. But, if I'm really chintzy and I don't want to just be the guy selling the initial dump impulse, you guys know that I will look like this. And this actually might be a cool short setup. Imagine trying to short something in this market. What a psycho RT. But this, this would be a valid short setup, right? You got all the market structure, divergence, blah, blah, blah. So then it's like, well, I need to now get a good entry. And this is not a good entry for a short. This is a terrible entry for a short because it's just dropped a whole bunch. So where's your stop loss, right? But a couple days, maybe we're doing this. This is going to be a really interesting level. Risking to the high. Maybe I'm getting in here with some bearish structure. It just pops up and then... And then here's your pump chaser zone, right? Does it go full reload zone? Test this level? Who knows? And that's normal shit. That's bull market shit. And then it's whatever it is. And then, then we get into a new cycle. I really do see that happening for a lot of this stuff. And it's really hard to see right now because we're all, if you're long on all coins right now, depending on your bags, like you're getting pretty sick gains. But GRT might be giving us a little roadmap here. So I'm glad you guys brought that up. For now, I think this impulse is done to me. Probability wise, always the key. If they announce some crazy partnership tomorrow, nobody cares what my TA says. It's just going to be like, wah. But generally speaking, in a bull market, I mean, think about all those coins we were looking that are like this right now. Which one do you want to buy? Right? That's why I do TA. Because it gives me a little bit of an edge, even in a bull where it's like throw darts, everything's going up. Well, I can get one that's here and not waste my time with one that's here. And that is not a comment on GRT. I heard graph token or whatever is actually really super cool. But that's how I see it. It's what I see. Long breakdown on GRT, but I think that's an important kind of discussion to have, because if we are in a larger bull cycle, which I think we are, then this is not going to be it, right? When this pump wears off and retraces, it's not going to be like, oh, bull market over, bear market incoming. That's like leg one to me. And so we want to have our heads on straight when that happens. We don't want to be up here in all of these crazy pumps we're seeing this week, buying the shit out of everything, losing money, then going on Twitter and being like, oh no, everyone's talking about the end of the bull, and we're going to, get scammed into selling our fucking coins into what is ultimately a reload zone. And then the next leg comes, and that's usually the biggest wave, second or first biggest wave of this bull market if we're going to get 2 or 3 or 4. Imagine that, right? For all those people that maybe had cold feet down here, and now suddenly they're like, oh man, this is crazy, buy. And then we look back, and for maybe like March, maybe April, it's like boring shit. And then the big FU rally comes in May and June, and we're sitting on the sidelines or just wrecked. So maybe I am a bear today. I don't know. There's a lot of shit I'm bullish on. GRT chart tells me let's give it some space. And that's a really nice analogy for the whole market. When you start to see this kind of stuff, lack of volume on the last push, bearish market structure rollover, bullish bearish divergence, get the fuck out, man. Pay yourself. Have a vacation. Enjoy your day. Find something that's showing you the opposite of that if there is one left. And there will be some big nasty dips this bull market, and we can go and pick those up. All right. Hedgic, we already did a little earlier, Andy. So if you want to just rewind for that, appreciate it. RT, Bittrex stuff, even PAMP eventually. Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of 2017, it was like buy anything that hasn't pumped season. And I remember, because even the shittiest little coins that I had that were totally dead that I was all sad about, they were up 10x. I mean, 10x, and they were just up a little relative to the whole market. It was like, oh, even they're up 1,000%. I don't even know if this token even exists. Lant. I think it's like a long dead token. This was an ICO. Yeah, it's dead. It's too bad. What's that one? What's that coin thing? Coin stats? No. Where is it? I want to see if we could find this, just to be like an example of CoinTrader Pro. That Lant. Leave it on here. Oh, it is. Okay, let's go. Let's just take a little walk down memory lane here, guys. Yeah. So, and I'm not, if these guys are still around and they're working hard and they're like, you're a hater. Okay, whatever. I'm sorry, guys. But this was a little poop coin. Didn't go too far. Shitty little ICO. But look right here. So this was when alts bottomed, December 7th, 2017. ETHUSD made like a nasty little bottom. Total dip. This thing wasn't getting any action. It was dead. But then everything through this, Christmas into January 1st, everything here was an absolute parabola. It was the most insane bull market you've ever seen. But this coin was still sitting around doing fuck all. But then what happened? The speculators' dopamines wore off. They said, what's next? I need more. What other little shit coin can I pump? Test pump at Lant. And by the end of like the next week, even these coins had gone up. Let's see if I was like even close with my suggestion. Yeah, about 10x. Well, 8x. 800% off the lows. I mean, arguably. Okay. Maybe I was 10x off these lows. Like to a T. And I still remember that because I actually owned some of this. And I was stuck in euphoria. I didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, this is insane. Even my shit coins are up. And I didn't even sell it. And did the market give a shit, what that coin was? Nope. It was purely because of that euphoria. So generally speaking, when you have, the shit rises last, the poop comes off the floor last. And so again, not to pick on Atlantis, just one that stood out of my head. But when you see like dead coins or otherwise like crappy things that no one has any business buying, pumping 10x in 7-8 days, when everything else has already gone crazy, unbelievable parabolic, start thinking about getting out, paying yourself, you know, I mean, by this time, the crazy thing is by this time, Bitcoin had already come off the highs. I think it was the 17th January back here. This was the Bitcoin top. So it was already kind of coming off, but we know liquidity cycles, right? Bitcoin flows into alts, flows into ETH, flows into mid caps, small caps. So this was like, this was the one that rose last in the entire bull market. So I hope that answers your question. Algo, yes, Boris. Let's go see Algo. Okay, guys, I'm gonna shorten my commentary because I have a tendency to run long on things I'm saying. Hope you guys, enjoy it either way. But I do understand that if you're waiting for a coin and you're like, I really want to see it, it's pumping. Yeah, so really good example here. I have some Algo. Was bullish on it at, right here. Getting my fills. Kind of overtraded it through here a little bit, maybe. Definitely like had a little more at one point and have, less now, but I still have some. Probably have about 25% of my bag left for the bets part of it, but I mean, you can't get poor paying yourself, even if you don't pay yourself the most you could have. So nice, same thing. Breakout. This one just happened to go earlier, and now it's in this parabolic move. Look, I think we're gonna have a bull market all year, and this is not sustainable for an entire year. So the more I talk about this, the more I think, holy shit, maybe I'm going to do some selling this weekend. Because these things can really, mind fuck you, where you think you're being smart doing what I'm about to do. If I am going to sell some more algo, and then they just go here. And you're like, oh no, I'm going to miss the market. But then, that's like, it's almost like this is savvy. Okay. Get out of here. It's like, this is like savvy take profits. People are like, yeah, I'm going to take profit. I'm a reasonable, rational trader. I'm going to pay myself. And then it goes up to here. And then everything from here to here is those people buying back, FOMOing in. And that's where you get that blow off top. Again, what I expect to be a local blow off top, part one of a greater cycle, because there's many months in the year. So who knows exactly where this goes. And that's why I love this chaos level shit. Let's go see. It's probably way above some of these chaos PRZs. It's getting up there to foggy bomb number 2. There's like an insano one that could be drawn here probably for the greater market cycle. Oh, that's what that is. Yeah. Maybe a more reasonable one here. And we're getting up there. Oh, look at that confluence. So a little consolidation here and a bigger consolidation down here, and they kick out almost the exact same level. And that's where we're at. So would I be shocked next week or Monday on the open or whatever, like if this, and then looking back in like a month, crypto's like doing some of this, and in a bull market, like that's what I actually see happening. And that's perfect, right? Because it means you don't get a free lunch. So all these FOMO buyers get shit on, which is what happens in markets. So that would fit that narrative. It would also fit a greater bull market, right? This is not a healthy chart. You can't go straight up. Just not the way it works. People will pay themselves. It's human psychology. That's why you get cycles. And then, yeah, retests. Get some really nice TA coming in from a position of strength. Reload zones, all that. Ooh, baby. Starting to get a little thesis here together today. You guys my rants have walked me into my very own new thesis. Because I was getting nervous. I am getting nervous. Number go up every day to a level that I can't imagine it went up to. It starts to feel like disbelief. So I don't think market top, but I think local top pretty soon on some of these. So yeah, if you guys aren't paying yourself at all, or even worse, you're like doing crazy things like suddenly getting ballsy and taking out loans or trying to do that, don't. That's not financial advice. That's one friend to another advice. This is not the time to get greedy. This is the time to get paid, let's say. Okay, still holding MPH. It's pumping. Oh shit, I don't think I've ever been holding MPH. God damn it, let's go look. Better for you guys if I never buy it, because it's, oh yeah, look at that. That's great. Fake out the other day, I noticed, because I actually have been kind of shortlisting this for myself. And then I saw this and I was like, whoa, look at that. Broke out. Retest. Look at that. That's actually sick. Okay, so this is what I talk about all the time. We're just going to highlight it here. Whoa, weird upside down fib. Look at that. So you're in a consolidation. Don't know what's going on. Oh, look at that. We got bullish market structure. We got sort of a larger bullish market structure. All that confirmed. So you could say, okay, we're definitely going out. And yes, I want to chase it. I want to make sure I get in on that. But how often is the market kind enough to reward you for good behavior and patience? And so you just draw up from that low that marks the bottom left of the market structure to the high of the initial breakout. And then can I get in at that reload zone? Oh my God. Easy to do in hindsight, but the more and more I do it in hindsight, the more and more I start to remind myself, no, stop. Be patient. Wait for the reload zone. And if you miss it, you miss it. But if you only ever long from these kinds of places, holy shit. Risk reward goes way up. It's hard to do in this kind of market, especially because things are just friggin' moving. But it's, what else is hard? It's hard to buy here and then for 2 days watch price go down. Let's say you were the poor soul that made the top here. You just lost 40% of your position over a period of 2 days. Tell me how many people that did that are going to probably end up selling down here, right into our buy zones. So it seems to happen more often than not. It doesn't happen every time. You miss some stuff, but my God, do I love those. So yeah, MPH is moving. Well, let's just put a nice basic fib extension on. I don't know if I would draw it to the top of that or right here. Could probably argue either way. But yeah, for maybe like conservative sake, let's go here and say, well, if I'm paid by that level, I'm a little safer in case that one likes to be it. Or if I want to be a little more aggressive, then I could take it up here. And if I just want to like average out, I could paint myself this picture. Purely on a technicals level, that's sort of what I'm looking at. And for fun, oh, look at that. There's another one we could draw. A little confluence. See, TA drives people crazy because it's not perfect sometimes. They want perfection. They say, well, it doesn't work because one time it didn't work. It's like, well, you just kind of need it to work more often than it doesn't, or at least equal amounts if you're winning more than you're losing on your winners. So it's coming up into that initial extension level, something to keep an eye on. And then let's see what the chaos says, because this is a pretty clean consolidation. Look at that. Almost marked the high here early. So initial chaos levels are getting in. I bet we could get, if we want to fit a narrative a little better, we could. Yeah. These are a little weird. Sorry, guys. ChartX doesn't save templates. I get lazy sometimes, but yeah. Look at that. So off of this chaos extension, that was a really cool target for the first rally. Bing, rejected. Bing, rejected. Breakthrough. I'm telling you, man, these things make great pay yourself targets. Not because they always mark the top, but they always just mark a really nice rally because it's 4.669. It's like it's a big level up, so you're getting paid. It just gives you something to work with. I mean, how the hell else do you decide when to sell? I think it's really weird when people sell at arbitrary levels. Like, I'll sell at $100 or I'll sell when it's up 10x. It's like, well, what reason do you have to sell at that level? I mean, fuck. If it's up 10x, it's in a bull market. Why are you just selling? Let your winner run, right? So I use this level as a, just as like a quantifiable, repeatable tool that I can then trust, to do. Can trust it repeatedly. And Yop is loving it right now. Using it for Yop worked out great. Look at that. Look at that. Chaos PRZ. It's even like just hanging out at it right now. Chaos PRZ coming out with Yop to just like add to our conversation. It just happens to be respecting this level so much. And how did I get that level? Well, you just write it up from the low of the consolidation back to the middle or the high. And that's the tricky science of it, right? Could be here, could be here. You got to kind of maybe draw a few of them, find the one that you think is most valid. At the end of the day, you got to pick one. And for me, Chaos PRZ today, 4669. I mean, that's incredible. It's incredible. And it just was the perfect level to be smacked down. And now it's pushing up, and for whatever reason is exactly at it as we speak. It's so cool. Didn't plan that, guys. This stuff works. So if I was loading up here, waiting for a pump, this is an area where I would pay myself. I'm not saying go sell YOP. I actually think it's undervalued relative to what, we talked about at the start of the show. Launchpad aggregator. I mean, look, like just to get on PokeStarter, I don't know if they changed this yet, but at one point it was 3,000 polls. I think it was 3,000. I think when I knew that, it was at $1 when I was thinking about that. So like back to TA, always having these SR flips in the bull market. Oh my God, so sweet. But at $1, you had to have 3,000 of these to participate and just to basically have a whitelist, like to have a chance at these. And that's just for PokeStarter. And if you want to go on, say, another one of these launch pads, just say TrustSwap, I think that's made available for their stakers. You have to earn or hold a certain amount of swap, stake it, and then you can have access to their launch pads. Falcon Swap, I imagine there's a holding rule. So imagine instead of all that noise, and those are great platforms. I love every one of the ones I just talked about. Imagine an app on your phone where simply holding some of this token gave you access to all of those different launch pads. That's what they just announced. 35, 40 mil market cap kind of thing. I think it's undervalued at from that perspective. But as a trader right here, sure. Yeah, cut a little bit last night. Tiny bit. I think like 5 or 10% of my bag. Because good habits keep you healthy. But in a weird sort of selfish trader way, I'm actually hoping this does mark a little bit of a local top, and then I can feel like a champ and buy some back when it like retests this level. But that's very hopeful. I don't know. Wouldn't call for that. Because this thing just put itself into a whole other ballpark with that announcement. It's the first of its kind, aggregating a very sexy thing. So very bullish on YOP, not really cutting in much of my bag at all. Like the most undersold pump of my life. But that's okay. Because, again, what, 100 mil, 200 mil, 500 mil, like it's DeFi craze, and that thing is the DeFi aggregator king. So I'll be waiting. What else do we got? Okay, back to the chat. Oh my God, I did the thing. Guys. Bow. Great example. Already, yeah. So look at this, guys. I remember this came up the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, that's over for now. So you want to think about what I was just talking about with some of those other coins. We'll go back to reload zone mode. Don't need these. Don't need these. Don't need these. Let's go here. Okay. So, yeah, we're kind of getting down there. So this is what I was just talking about. This is perfect. This is kind of the thing. And you can see this early part of the cycle in bow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, whatever you want to call it, an Elliott wave. I don't know Elliott waves, but generally speaking, it's that cyclical kind of thing. But this is sort of like, I think a lot of altcoins are right here right now. And so what you end up with is the shakeout, right? This is not where you buy. This is not where you buy. Why? Not because they won't go up shortly after, but because eventually you can probably get them back at breakout levels. So bow is like definitely ahead of its time, and it's looking like it's into a buy zone. And so then the question is, well, how do I know when? Because this is just location tool. This isn't like as soon as it's there, always buy it. I need a few other things. One of those things is divergence. I want to see that the momentum is shifting within the asset. And I'm actually kind of seeing that here. We're seeing a higher low on the MACD. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's pull it up. Let's get it up here. So if you look at the MACD, oh, it's pretty gross. Let's go yellow, thicken it up. And let's get rid of that. So yeah, you can see here, MACD as price is coming down. Price here on the price chart, we'll go look in a sec, is actually lower, but the MACD is higher. The momentum was shifting internally before the price did. See, so price came down, but in fact, we saw just now the MACD did not. So that's a good sign. And And then, in this market, it's not enough to just look bullish or be in a bullish location. I want to actually see buyers coming in. I want to be long from the bulls. And we saw that here. We saw that here. We saw that here. That was a really good sign, and it ended up in a parabolic move. I don't see that yet. I still see sort of the bears are in control. Volume highs belonging to the bears. So what we need here is for bulls on the bow. I want to know when I want to get some, because I never did trade this one. And this consolidation could last for a little while, wherever it's going to go. Basically as long as it's like within here, it's pretty standard. And then that might be a little low, but yeah, okay. Should probably stay above this 786 throwback. And then what do you want to see is some like buys coming in, buys. And then the sick thing is you might get that on price, and then it'll still give you a nice entry. And everyone's like, oh, it was just a fake out. And that's where I would take some shots, lay some risk on the table whenever that happens. And then hopefully we get the next leg to this cycle, assuming BAO is a cool coin. I don't know anything about it, but looks pretty dope on the chart. So that's maybe a little sneak peek of what we're going to see for some of these coins that are just in these crazy parabolic moves right now. And it's why I just will never buy them, because weeks later, people forget that these were cool. There's just too many winners priced into this thing. They're going to take their profit. They're going to cash out. And that's exactly what we saw, a bullish throwback or bearish throwback. And then let's go collect ourselves down here, back into the strong hands, whoever they may be, guys like me waiting for their buy opportunities. People who got caught with their pants down up here trying to buy too much, having to sell at a loss. Same old shit. Chain games to $5 in few days. Richard Don, the chain bull. Let's go see chain. It was like a penny last time I looked. So, oh my God, what is happening to chain? Oh, okay. Richard, share your secret. What announcement did they just make? That is absurd. Oh, Jesus, guys. What the hell did chain just do? I just felt that one in my junk. What's going on over here? The hell? Call of Duty? Like, did Activision just buy chain games or something? Like, that is a monstrous pump. Where can we see this, guys? We got to find this live. This is not a normal pump. What the hell is happening? Not like I'm rushing to see if I should buy, but I just want to know what the hell. Chain games. Go look it up. Chain games on Twitter. I'll pull it on the screen if I find it, guys. Real chain games. Boom. Did they make an announcement? Promoted tweet? No. Milestone builds are 3 new mobile games should be arriving from our store. Under the radar building absolute best esports gaming? No. I don't know. What's going on with chain games? I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. I don't see Feb 10th. We've decided. Oh, we've enabled PayPal Sandbox in the testnet. Okay. Maybe it was like a PayPal announcement. Doesn't seem like a partnership. Oh, I guess it is. Yeah, maybe that's okay. Enabled PayPal Sandbox for testing of our fiat cash games on ramp that is coming in the near future. Games cash will be integrated. It's just a matter of stepping. That's dope. So you can basically be betting on games peer-to-peer with cash and PayPal. That's huge. I mean, I don't know. That's an insane rally. Anyone holding PayPal integration. Wow. Okay, that's pretty sick, guys. If you're wondering why I'm having this reaction, it's because once upon a time I had some chain. But I don't anymore. And you know what? It's okay. The money I took back from chain when I did once upon a time, I've been putting it to work. Like, you can't quantify what I've done with it since, but I've done more than this. And then we'll see. Like, if I had just held that the whole way through, I'd be up 8x right now. Or whatever. Not 8x, but So I'm not bothered, but that's insane. Look at that pump. That's what we live for, baby. Good call. I'm not going to say like $5 in a few days, but I am excited about your excitement. It's an insane bit of news on a pretty low cap coin, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go see. It's a cool ticker too. Chain. Like, how did it take that many years for someone to come up with that? 26 mil, pretty low still. So that's cool. But, you know, from a TA perspective, give me the pump chaser zone at least. It's a super cool chart. Yeah, I mean, give me a 382 if you're going to invite me over for dinner. You know, something like that. If you really need to get on board something like this, you want to probably look at something like that. Great share, guys. That was intense. Oh my God. I got to show this to my buddy, though. He's going to love this chart. He's going to love it. In fact, I'm copying it right now so I don't forget. Oof. And let's get to a couple more. How are we doing? Oh my God. We're coming up on 2 hours, guys. Just sitting here having a good old time today. Didn't even notice the time. So let's give it 2 more tickers. What do we got? XDAI Stake. All right. XDAI Stake. Oh, I know the one. Stake. I actually traded this at like $10 and it's at 24. Nice. It's doing well. Yeah, I think I traded it back here. I mean, you know, 'tis the nature of the market. I think I bought it like 10 and then sold at 12. I mean, it was a pretty sizable little buy, but I forget what it was. It was right here, November 26th. There was probably some major dump in the market at the time. And then I just like, I was like, oh, look, my chain's still up or my stake's still up 20%. I'll just sell that to appease my fear. So I made 20% on it, but nice. It's looking really good. I mean, look what you've got rising volume. You've got rising trend. It's probably going to break out, to be honest. Looks really good. Enough said. Enough said. Resistance here. Could be, you know, that there was that same kind of thing. Not as clean on this one. You find that they're not as clean on Uniswap because it's not a limit order environment, right? So it's like people just aping market orders left and right. So you can't, you know, you can use 1inch and some other limit order things, but they're not quite the same. So you don't get as clean levels on Uniswap, which is totally fine, but just something to be aware of. So for example, like if I was trading this, what the hell am I doing here? If I was trading this and I'm like, ooh, I'm bullish here, but if this level breaks, I'm out. Like it's really hard to treat that as an invalidation because clean levels just don't exist on Uniswap the same way they do on centralized exchanges with proper order books and all that. So just something to be aware of. Loosening stops if you're going to use any kind of sense of a stop loss. You can't, right? But you could have like a price alert and then sell manually. But text. Okay. So yeah, that stake looks really strong. Looks like the beginning of a parabolic advance. We'll see if it can make it through. I think it looks pretty good. My God, algo. Just out of principle, I just want to like pay myself here on algo. Even though on another level, like in a year, I feel like I'm going to look back, it'll be worth so much more. But trading through this mini cycle seems real. Like, I mean, look at that thing. Let it go. I mean, I still want to pay myself on this parabolic advance, like heavily. Dusk. It looks like a Binance pump and dump chart. John Graves says about chain. Yeah, it does. And that's like the news-driven stuff, right? Where it's just like this insano news. I think chain games had a really cool concept already. I don't know that enabling fiat within that is going to, you know, but it's obviously leveling it up. I mean, I can't hate, man. It's a big integration. But yeah, like I don't suddenly think I'm going to pay 800% more for it the next day. It's not how I trade. But, you know, God, imagine front running that news. Whew. What the hell am I looking at here? Got sidetracked. Okay, Phil, you're lucky. I was looking, I couldn't find what I was looking for, and you popped in. Let's go look at Filecoin. Ooh, yeah. So like, here's a thing, where you get that big breakout. Let's go see what the chaos says. Look at that. Look at that. Chaos says somebody paid themselves, and they did. That's why we got a little sell here. Pretty cool. I don't know if that's because people ever use this shit or if it's just because it's a freaky deaky weird fractal in nature. But yeah, it just also happens to align with this little wick high here. But yeah, so like trade one complete on Filecoin for those who were trading that bottom breakout. But you know, does it continue is the question. Is it in the pump chaser zone? Yes. So there is another trade here, continuation trade, bot trade kind of thing, potentially setting up. And this huge volume into that high. Remember we just talked about this. So this is actually looking good. So like, look, new high, local high, new highs in volume. No real sense of divergence. No real sense that this is a dying rally. If anything, it's more of like a breakout to a much larger one. So File actually looks pretty good here. And if we want to zoom in on it, let's get into the hourly. Looks to me like it just broke out, possibly. If you're going to get this kind of little thing here, right? Little, you know, bulls fall asleep, bears are in control. Oh, look at that. The bulls just woke up. I don't know if you guys can see. I know the volume's hard to see with our banner at the bottom. Maybe our producer can help you out. That might help a bit. But you see here, so the bulls falling asleep, consolidate, consolidate, consolidate. Bears waking up, aka guys taking profit because they just made some money. Normal stuff. And then, oh, look at that. The bulls start taking over again. The buying starts to pick up. And we break out of that little flag. And so, yeah. Well, let's just do what we did last time. Let's be consistent. Right here. Right here. Right here. I mean, always scared it's not going to come, right? If you're a Super Bowl, you're like, well, what if I don't hit this level? But that's an interesting level. It's right in the pump chaser zone. It's in the higher time frame, right? Between these two levels. It's in a reload zone of this little range, which is like, you know, what? Bullish market structure breakout here. So get that reload zone. Sorry, the lines get ugly fast. Right, so low, higher low, breakout, get into that reload zone. And then what if I'm buying that sweet spot? What if I'm risking to this low? I'm only risking 6.5%, nice and tight. Technically, I can size that up a bit. So not too much risk on position. And if we get a nice, big, strong continuation, I only have to get to here to get my 3-to-1. That's sick. That's like an inter-range trade. And if I manage that, then sky's the limit on the next one. Let's zoom out. Wow, nice setup on Phil. You know, like, so that's how I grab a continuation. Because like, if you look at this chart, you're like, is that the top? Well, hard pressed to believe that. It's a great bull market. Thanks for coming out, guys. It's like, no, it's more like launch hype, bleed out, bleed out, bleed out, down, 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 breakout. This is a breakout, more than likely. So, you know, pump chaser zone, everything we just looked at, nice little tight setup within that. Imagine you can catch the next leg with a 6% risk window. That's how I'm going to trade it. John, put Filecoin on our list. Let's take a look at that after the show. Real talk. Because through all those other parabolic moves, like, and this is, you know, we are going to have to wrap here, guys. I got to think about the producer too. Not going to put it on him. He's probably down to roll. He goes hard, but at some point we do have to wrap. It is Friday. We usually keep this one to an hour. We're at 2. But like, I want to pay myself on algo, not because I'm like a bear and I'm going to get out of this market, but like I can go rotate that into Filecoin. See if I can catch that next leg. You know, let this one go into a flag. If I get a setup, I'll get back in. That's the trader's life. That's not the investor's life. If an investor in algo is really bullish long-term, you know, so what I might do, full disclosure, what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to close 75% of the last of my algo. And I'm going to take that remaining 5%, which I think is like whatever, a couple thousand algo tokens. And I'm going to go just park them in my free position portfolio, AKA a wallet that is not on the exchange and not in my trade portfolio tracker. I'm going to put them in my other one, which I barely look at. So if I end up not catching the reload zone or the next wave or whatever in algo, and then at the end of the year, you know, we get back here and this thing turns into what I expect it will, which is some kind of like, whoa, 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 and that's our bull market. And don't call me crazy, guys. This is the shit that, this is probably what's coming. Something like this. Just going to be honest. But it's not going to be easy to trade. It's going to pull back. It's going to It's going to rip your heart out. It's going to take most of your gains away 2 or 3 times. But that's the perspective I have on this market. So I'll probably pay myself pretty heavily here because on the zoomed in, that's a pretty parabolic move, and I'm like happy with it. And then I'm going to hold a little moon bag, and that's dope. And then I can trade with in peace, and wherever we end up, I'll be like, oh man, so glad I got that moon bag of algo. So yeah, that was a bullish ending to an otherwise caution-filled conversation today. But that's it, right? This to me is a coming out party. I can't believe people are talking about tops in the market. I mean, local tops, yes, I'm talking about them too. But don't fall for the bullshit, when people start, I mean, if people have good intentions and they're like, hey, careful out there. Don't wreck yourself. Like, cool. And that's not bullshit. I'm talking about the guys that are like seeking clout, like, haha, I told you it was the top. Everything's going to zero. And they just want to be like this really bold caller. Careful about that shit. Because when those calls get the loudest, and this is going to be my closing comment today, when those calls get the loudest, just say this goes like even one more, and then it's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then it's like depression cycle, like mini one for like a month. That's way too long. Like maybe even like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to draw it up, but this won't go straight up. If we have a $5 price target, just say on this coin for fun, I'm going to pick an algo. It just won't go there in this move, this exact little move. It's going to have to cycle. It's just the way the market works to some extent, unless you're chain, in which case you just go 800%. So, it generally speaking though, the market will cycle its way up through the bigger cycle. So with that in mind, my targets long-term for this stuff in this macro cycle are very high for a lot of these things, higher than I think I would ever be comfortable holding through. And so I will trade them, and I will trade. And for this particular trade that I loaded up down here at the breakout, I'm about done. I'm about done. And once whatever happens, I hope for my sake, my type of trading, I'll be really rewarded if we do end up in some kind of chill zone, because that's where I can get greedy because I got fearful right now. One way or another, man, trading the shit out of this bull for the next however many months we get it. I hope all of this makes sense, guys. I know I got a little roundabout there with some of this cyclical stuff, but that's the kind of conversations we need to be having, if we're going to be traders, which is what I'm doing here. Solana just looks so good. So good. And I just think it's so undervalued. This is versus Bitcoin. I mean, it's not even at its all-time highs. Of course, back then, Bitcoin was a lot cheaper. Perhaps a better measure is this. Oh, Solana looks so good. Yeah, we've been charting and trading this one. Well, actually, I've been over trading this one a little bit, but like, got paid a couple times already, and I've got my free bag now. I'm just going to hold it. I'm going to hold it tight, possibly tighter than any other bag I ever hold. Yeah, because I'm bullish on Solana. Let's just leave it at that. Super, super cool project. Doing big things I'm excited about. So who knows where that's going, but my free bag is not going anywhere. And, if we do get any of that kind of stuff I just talked about, oh my God, the bull market's over. Wow, reload zone. Then I'm actually like pumped. I'm going to long the shit out of it. Right now, I'm just holding what I have left. I'm not going to sell it, not going to buy more. Okay, guys, let's get back to the studio. Sorry, lingering all day today. I'm in such a chatty mood. So much to talk about, guys. Appreciate you all coming out today. Don't know what camera I'm looking at. I'm going to assume the front one. So hit me up with that, John. Love having you guys here today. So much to talk about. A bit of a recurring theme around don't buy into the tops or middles or any kind of parabolic verticals typically, unless you're like scalping in, scalping out, very advanced. But if you're like, oh, I'm just going to comfortably sit in this parabola, it's usually best to find a pump chaser zone like we saw on Filecoin. That's a nice little setup within a breakout, or following a breakout rather. So keep an eye on that kind of stuff. If you're not really sure what the hell I'm talking about, then you better start tuning in more regularly, because we do it every single day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I should say, and on Twitter at Real Hero Labs, at Random Task 555, And if you guys are tuning in from CCI and Facebook, hello. Good to have you. Appreciate you guys coming in. TradingView as well. Periscope, YouTube, all you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. And whatever you do, always play from a position of strength. Take care.